called the home garden component of agroforestry. Then we have the plantation section. The plantation section actually incorporates the trees and the crops. So we'll be able to take you there, and then we shall end here. And then along this chain, we have the value chain. The home garden component has got the tree nursery component, which is on the other side. So we shall basically tell you how we begin growing these trees right from the nursery up to plantation setting. Let me hope all of you have got gumboots.
Some need for hiring.
So we shall start with the plantation section. Why you want to start with the other section is simply because most of the people always make a lot of mistakes when they want to do pre-farming as a business. And we have also gone through all those types of mistakes. So we want you to identify the mistakes there. And then we end with where the seedlings are coming from. So when you'll be able to see the mistakes or else the success from our own fields, you'll definitely know when you're making a decision to do tree growing as a business, what you need to do. So you see the failure, then you incorporate that with your initial decision. Because most people have always made that decision mistakenly. So that's what we want to do. Even where we are seated, you'll realize that there are also successes and failures. So along that, that's what we want to do. So I did not introduce myself fully, but I've just gone through to do that. So this is my side income business, but this is where I will be retiring from. And most people always begin doing their farming when they're at an older age, thinking that when I am employed, when I have retired, then I have to begin doing now other things, which is very, very late, because you don't have a sustainability plan for what you are doing. So I have started mine earlier. Actually, I started this one when I was in the university with my faculty allowance, because I didn't want to complete my university section then at the end of the day. It's not basically my profession, but it's a profession that I have stolen from somebody with whom I sleep in the same bedroom. I said, okay, you have the knowledge, I think I can convert the knowledge into business. Yeah? My wife is a forester, but me, I'm not a forester. I'm not a forester. But every time she will come with her notes. So one time I landed on one of the most lucrative course models that she was having, that was tree seed and nursery. So when I looked through the Manibe tree seed prices, I was able to see that a kilogram of tree seed goes up to 5 million. I said, why can't you convert this into money? I see a lot of eucalyptus seedlings outside there. Can't you convert this and begin selling to other people, even if you charge it at a lower price at 100,000? Can you start it? So what do you need? So that was how I was able to start my farming as a business. Along the way, when we started going, around 2005, I think that was when I was even identified by someone somewhere that, hey, you have been identified as one of the best farmers. So from there, I just picked the interest. But all what I can tell you is that it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of patience. Most of us always want quick money, but if you want to invest in this type of enterprise, believe me, you can even begin realizing the money after 10 years. Okay? So if you want quick money, you rather start border, which is not sustainable. But with this, you'll be able to be sustainable. But this is the type of enterprise where there is no immediate gain. Sometimes you fail up to third year you're not getting money. But believe me, time will reach. You are there busy sleeping, but someone is thinking of bringing for you money. Someone is thinking of bringing for you money. It will reach a time when actually you are not thinking of looking for the customers, but the customers are the ones chasing for you. So, I think there are some other people who wanted to attend to briefly. Then thereafter we shall go to the plantation section. So we have guides. These are guides. You know, as we are working here, I work with a team of technical people. I know I don't have all that. No one has a monopoly of knowledge. Time to time, I call my technical guys to come and guide me. And with that, I add my experience. Sometimes they come with the book work, but I always also tell them, based on the experience that I have, because I'm all the time with these things, I think, let's change this and that. So, shall I have two guides? I have one of the technicians who will take you through banana production, and then one will take you through fruit tree growing as a business. That is a Baron. He works with Naro. We also use him in our home garden here, time to time, to come and advise us, very special when we have problems with diseases. So we call them to come and advise us on what we can really do. Because along the way we have been using some other chemicals or pesticides, but you find others begin building resistance. Since they are doing research, we tend to incorporate them to also demonstrate what they are using in their farms into our farm. Thank you so much. But we'll require that you ask as many questions as you can, because we shall not be in position to give you everything. But when you have questions, we are here for you. We shall answer all the questions, and we shall give those questions based on our experience and based on what is applicable in our agroecological zone. So I want us to learn from that story. Site species selection and site matching, and how we can really organize our farms when we want to look at tree farming as a business. Right now where we are going to go is where we are doing site selections, and we are trying to choose the best and to adopt it for expansion. Because we have made a lot of mistakes from there, I want you to learn from our mistakes and how we are trying to first of all experiment and trying to now do it on a larger scale. We have started with site species selection. Yeah? That's where we are going there. So if you are looking at forestry as a business, as a farming, where can you start from? Okay? Even if you have bought your seedlings from anywhere, before you go on a larger scale, there are some aspects that you need to look at if you are doubtful about where you have got your seedlings from. I know there are so many nurseries mushrooming, but the key thing from that is always ask, where have you got your seeds from? We made that mistake. You see, we have mangoes here. Ideally, some of the mangoes are not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be in temperate regions, but we now end up using them as flowers. We use some of them as seeds. Yeah? So, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing a certain something. I think there's breakfast first.
I'm a professional farmer. Yes, some are saying the economists, some are doctors. Me, I have two professions. I'm a forester by profession and agriculturist by profession. So it means I did forestry, also I did agri. So I'm an environmentalist. Is that okay? So when I received a call from my friend Richard, that's first of all my OB, we studied in the same class, in the diploma level. He's my friend. So when I received a call like that, and after seeing you people like this, I see hope that our place is going to develop. Because me, I work in Abbey here. So always when we receive visitors, I will receive all the people. When I see old people, I don't see future. Okay?
True.
Because an old person will not grow a tree. Because people want immediate benefits. When I see you, I see that there's going to be a development. We are going to use this time for sharing our experiences, ideas, what we have failed to do, then we can improve on what we have been doing. Okay? Our problem as young people now is we want big things at the same time. That's why people go for betting. Okay? Some of us have land, but we want to grow 10 acres of beans one day. That one will not help. You end in tears, you lose your money, you cry. Okay? If you want to learn something, you must start with small things. Okay? 2 ways the source of the material you're going to plant. It's like you, some of you who are married like me. If you choose to get a wrong husband or a wrong wife.
Who is married?
So, I'm saying, if you choose to get a wrong partner, or you see how your marriage is going to suffer. If you pick your seeds or seedling from the wrong source, definitely your crops are going to be infected. And if you choose to put them on the wrong site where they're not supposed to be, they will not yield. Like I'm talking now, these mangoes you are seeing, in Abbey we have 38 varieties of mangoes. I know them their characteristics, the types. Some, like what Richard said, some are not supposed to be grown here. We have what we call multi-locational trial sites in the whole of West Nile, where we're evaluating them. We only evaluated 6 mango varieties. We're supposed to be grown in West Nile. West Nile is only, we subdivide in West Nile into 3. The highland, the lowland, and the medium altitude. So some grow in highlands, others grow in lowland, others in the medium altitude. So where you are growing your thing, crop, you should know which crop to grow where and why. Don't grow your crop because people are also growing. Because there must be a market for what you are going to grow. Now what we need is a market. Because we're in town, we can get our small money, we buy mokene, we should be eat every day. But if you want to grow in big quantity, are you going to supply schools? Are you going to take to Sudan? Are you going to take for churches? That must be in the back of your brain. You just say, I'm growing. What are you growing? And what are you growing for? Okay, where are you taking it? Do you have stores for keeping them? Is there, do you have post-harvest handling materials? Are you going to add value? There's value this one need. Otherwise, you waste your time. You become more frustrated. You regret why you spent all your money without. It's worse when you pick a loan. You regret. So these are the few words I want to tell you. As young people, don't start your business because others are starting. If you got digging is difficult for you, why can't you go and start your saloon so that you benefit? Okay? Yeah. Like me, I started growing, when I was young, I started growing tobacco because my uncle was a good farmer. I only worked for 1 year. I was almost sick. So I knew, when I did my cost-benefit analysis locally, I had, because farmers, tobacco farmers don't, assuming I'm a farmer, I need to pay myself for what I'm doing. Okay? A tobacco farmer will grow tobacco. His labor is not cost. Assuming I pay myself every day 10,000 and the end of selling tobacco, how much money will have been given to me? It's like someone who gets salary. Monthly, they give you salary because that's your labor. But assuming you're a tobacco farmer, they pay you every day. At the end of selling tobacco, how much money are you going to get for yourself, for the family, for other things? We don't cost these things when we're doing business. You wear out every day. Because when you start a business, you see yourself in the mirror. Then at the end of the day, when you are making profits, you see yourself in the mirror. There will be change in you. You, at the beginning, you look nice. After the business, with the stress, you look different. So if you're at the end of business, you're looking more beautiful than you used to be. You're making profit. If you're looking more stressed, you are making loss. You need to leave that business to divert to other businesses. Is that okay? These are a few words I'm telling you. We are going to learn. Then we shall see and evaluate ourselves at the end of the day.
So we should always go for the best. Always go for the best. Don't just go for it simply because you have found it somewhere at a cheaper price. So what is the advantage of that over this? Before we go that, as I told you earlier when we were at the other side, we are looking at an agroforestry system. So at first here, we had established some other tree species here. But the tree species were not matching with the soils. They were not matching with the temperature. We are not matching with the altitude. And those are that. Are you seeing? They're called terminalia. I still have some of them. It makes me remember the amount of money I spent in establishing terminalia. You can come
touch it.
keep going.
We call it umbrella tree.
This, you'll definitely realize that I have done the rest out of the frustration. This is one tree species I love so much in my life. And I really wanted my forest to be full of these trees. Then I rushed to a nursery. Even I raised the seedling sometimes myself. I really established all this land was full of the terminalia, the umbrella tree. Because it is one tree that grows very straight, even up to sometimes 50 meters. I see it down country, then I wanted to replicate what is in Kampala in my setting. But it did not work out for me. Why? Simply because the soils and the temperature and the altitude could not support its growth. You see it here, it's coming to 7 years. 7 years. 7 years. It's not really doing well. Why actually now it's trying to catch up is simply because of the eucalyptus. Okay? The friends. It has created its side for it. Why? Simply because when you are now, I wanted it as a business, but it failed me. I invested a lot of money in raising it. So what happens is that we go to our technical people. Where you want to invest something as a business, do a lot of research about it, where it can apply. Don't just go simply because I have admired it somewhere, it can really do up in my setting. It will always frustrate you. So it did not do well, close to 7 years, but this one is now 1 year. I would have rather gone for this. Okay? So, and when you see around here, at first, I make sure that the management is up to standard. Because when you are now going into a forest setting, you can get frustrated anytime. All the neighbors have to be your friend. Even the youngest kid has to be your friend. Where you are not so sure, your investment, like in a tree setting, is very far from you, always make sure that avoid risks of fire. So I always ensure that I maintain my plantations for me not to get frustrated out of this. Now, we have 5 major species here. We have the white thick, we have the clone, we have Grevillea, we have teak. Okay? Where we are in is in eucalyptus setting. So, somebody will ask me, wherever you are, you see your eucalyptus being grown very near. Now, what is my purpose? I have to ask myself, what is my purpose of doing this? Okay? Some people might want to grow the eucalyptus for firewood, others want to grow it for poles, others want to grow it for timber. Those are different purposes and all for business. If I wanted to grow it for firewood, meaning that the space in here has to be nearer. If I want to grow it for poles, it has to be nearer to each other. But if I want to grow it for timber, meaning that I have to space it a little bit further for it to grow faster. Isn't the production, you have small land space with maximum production. So if this is supposed to be for poles, the distance from here up to there is a wastage. I will have to make it a little bit closer. okay? But it will not attain its gap bigger. But if I'm doing it for timber, it has to be further a bit, okay? Because what I'm going to cut, I'm going to convert it into timber, meaning that the logs have to be bigger. So I have to space it close to 3 meters. So what you see here is 3 meters by 3 meters, and its purpose is for timber. You get it? Eh? Yeah. But most important thing is, where am I getting my seedlings from? Is the purpose. So how have I managed to bring these seedlings up very fast? At first, I know the spacing is further apart. The seedlings are still very small. It will be wastage. I can still utilize the land vis-a-vis this. You get it? So at initial stages, what we always do is we do soybean production. And from my experiments, not technically, I realized the soybean was doing here very well. Okay? It reached a certain stage, I left it. But again now, in this setting, I have learned a lot of things. Sometimes you find that there is no money, you don't have money, but really you have an investment in such a setting. You find that, you say, okay, what if I give my land to a neighbor to dig under it? The neighbor will be improving for me. But is it the best? Ask yourself. That's what the foresters will tell you, that is the Tonja system. Let's now see what I tried to experiment, but it failed me. They were really doing the best, but their emphasis is all the time about their crops. They're not going to take care of my trees. So let's move further this way. So from this block, I was telling you, we tend to learn from our mistakes. Yeah. We tend to learn from our mistakes. So you find, it reached a point, you find people come to you. Yeah? People come to you, you tell them, okay, I have my trees here, I'm failing to manage it. Please, can you try to manage for me my trees? What you do, you come and dig under my tree. Isn't? Yeah. So they will come with a different purpose. Others will say, because you are not going to dictate upon them. You are very far, like the way we have come. You are very far. You cannot dictate. These trees are 1 year old. I gave them to be managed under somebody. You get it? Yeah? So what happens is, you give the land, you have planted your trees, you want someone to manage it for you. They are also 1 year like these ones. So what happens here is that the person you have brought in will manage for you the trees, but will not take care of your trees. The crops that they are going to grow are going to compete. Yeah. They plant what is called a competitive plant with your trees. So, is it the best option? Is it the best option? So you have to be very careful. Yeah, you have to be very careful. They are also 1 year old. They are also 1 year old. These ones are also 1 year old. So see the performance here. So when you are doing this, these ones don't have the vision that you have for your investment. Okay? They don't have the vision for your investment. So what they always do is they care about their crops. They don't care about your trees. You get it? So be very careful when you're trying to invest something, avoid the Tonka system. Now, species selection. So you find the clone type, this one here, is also GC 796/2. You get it? You see, those ones, they are sota. It means that they are not adaptable. They're also 1 year old, but it is a wrong species. It is a wrong species. It is not adaptable. Here it is grown in a central region. So where I was buying my clones, there was an adulteration of the seedlings. They mix it up because I still did not have this. I also got frustrated out of this. I said, from this setting, I think I have to know where I'm getting my seedlings for myself. So I decided to establish my own Yeah? Get it? So I'll be so sure what I am picking here is this. Or if I'm failing to do that, you go to a certified seed source or nursery where they can at least track where they are getting their seedlings from or the seeds from. So this is the clone. We're going to proceed the other extreme end, Grevillea, people who love growing crops. So you find at this stage, the eucalyptus cannot grow. Now at this stage, it cannot accommodate another crop because the leaves themselves, they produce a chemical called allelopathic chemicals that will kill off whatever is going to come underneath. Okay? It's not good. So the foresters will talk more about it. Me, I can just stop there.
So, what happens? Destroys the land. The story behind the eucalyptus is that eucalyptus is like a cow wife. When it's growing, the roots exude what we call allelopathy. The roots exude some chemical which deters growth of another crop. So when it's growing, the roots grow fast. They deter another crop from growing. So when this eucalyptus is around 5 years, you will not see grass around here. Because it will deter any crop from, even a grass from growing near it. It will only reserve the place for eucalyptus alone. And when you are growing eucalyptus, you should reserve a place like this for eucalyptus alone. Because a mature eucalyptus will consume 50 liters of water per day. So if you plant it near a water source, there's a likelihood that the water will disappear in the next future. That's why it's not advised to plant eucalyptus near river banks. Like if you have a land near where the the NEMA people have put their levels, they'll not allow you. I think some of you have seen. Yeah. So there are different types of eucalyptus. In Uganda, we have around 500 species of varieties of eucalyptus. Also, these clones, there are different types of clones. Like us working with the research in Ayivu, we have 7 types of clones. He only talked about one. Yeah. You remember him saying this other variety, it was adulteration, it was mixed up. It means some of these eucalyptus are supposed to be grown in temperate areas. Okay? That's why they're not growing here. But if they're taken to other places, which are highlands, which low temperatures, they have grown bigger than this. So it's know where to plant your eucalyptus or where to plant a particular plant or tree so that we don't see changes. You say, when I came to buy Richard's farm, his things were growing well. Now in my land, they're not growing. They say, this man is playing juju. No, you planted a good crop in a wrong land. Is that okay? We should consider the type of soil. Let me say, ecological reasons vary according to the plants they are growing. You know the cut is rough. When it's rain season, I know some of you are a doctor, this is also a doctor. It will expose you to infection. When you cut it smooth, when the water comes, it seals down. Because when the temperatures are high, there's a lot of spores by fungus. So you reduce the accumulation of the spores on the trees by removing the stems smoothly, so that the ultraviolet rays from the sun can reduce the infection rate. Okay? You cut them from there, you cut from down, then up. With not a panga, with a saw. With a saw. Both saw or hand saw. That is after how. If you cut with a hanger like this, instead of accidental you can cut. We have different types of pruning. We call what we call rodent pruning. A rodent means, especially when you go to Grevillea, you know what we call rodents. These, when the plants are small, the rats come also, start chewing the bark. Especially when there's no food for them during dry season. So you cut some of this so that you expose them to predators. Then other will be access for, as the trees grow, you as the workers will need access for them to weed under. Or as you're moving around, you also feel yourself so that you move on around.
So
under this you don't like dig. Do you just leave it like that? Or
No, when there is a,
only slash?
when we talk about agroforestry, there are supposed to be three things. Well, there are three components. There must be a tree component, there's a crop component, there must be animal or not. That's why you see there is simsim and eucalyptus. When you see simsim and eucalyptus, that's agroforestry. When you see a tree like this is not agroforestry, this is forestry. Agroforestry means you have two components in one place so that they have mutual benefit. Okay?
So what animals can you keep here with eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus, if the animals, you have goats, you leave them to graze around. So they also do weeding for you. Instead of unless they will be eating their grass. And the poo is also manure for what? For the trees. And the trees provide them shade. Yes, please.
What would you advise on spot weeding? I've seen farmers sometimes just do spot weeding and...
Okay, we shall talk there.
It's a good practice anyway.
Very perfect.
Very perfect actually. When I spot weed my orange at home.
Now what you do is, when you're going to do spot weeding, if you have herbicides, okay, you can do spot weeding so that you reduce the stem from touch with the chemical. You just use herbicide. Okay. Yeah, the what called non-selective herbicide. Okay. You just spray around, you leave the plant intact. Okay. Or when you there's problem, money you have the little to do everything. You only spot like what we did, spot where the plants are, so that the rest of the plants, the rest of the garden remains like that, so that the plant continues to grow, which is minimal affected by the weeds or other pests, because fights come because there's the weeds around the plant.
When you are now setting up these plantations, roads like this are really, really very, very important. Yeah, roads like this are very, very important for production and for harvesting. Then they act as fire lines, and we ensure that these ones are managed throughout the year. So this is a compartment of its own. You find this is also a compartment, and the other extreme end is also a compartment. By the time these trees will be up, okay, these ones will be access roads. These ones will also serve, after harvesting, will serve for vehicles to move. So when you are planning in your tree investment, don't say, okay, every other space I have to utilize it. It's very, very important that you leave roads. The roads are going to serve as forest roads. And they will be easy for supervision also. You find sometimes during dry season, it will be easy. If there is fire, you can do the firefighting also easy when you have such kind of roads. You can have a tractor, or let's say a vehicle, for transporting water, for firefighting. It's really very, very important. So when you are planning this, please also plan for these roads. So let's proceed at the extreme end, then we shall end this side.
Morning exercise.
Have you seen my 5 feet? 7-year-old?
7-year-old. Those are 7 years.
Yeah.
It means all the soil is not good. Lira. Did you know the leaves of lira? It's pesticide. Very good pesticide.
Hello Caterpillars, my name is Mercy Grace Munduru. I'm the head of marketing, communications and public relations at Wenduparaka Football Club. I hope you're keeping safe in these unprecedented times. I'm here to remind you that Corona is real, the numbers are surging up, and each one of us should take care of themselves. Football is nothing without its fans, and the only way we can have our fans at the beginning of the footballing season is if we all keep safe. As a club, we're anticipating a very beautiful beginning of season, and we can only be able to enjoy that if you and I keep safe. How do we keep safe? Let's make sure we're following the SOPs as issued by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization. Make sure that you wash your hands as frequently as possible with soap or use sanitizer. Make sure that you maintain social distance, especially if you have to go into crowded areas. Above all, ensure that if you're going into a public place, you are wearing your mask, and ensure that you're wearing your mask correctly, because wearing your masks will lower your chances of acquiring COVID-19. Please keep safe.
Have we seen here? These were my first interests. I had no interest in eucalyptus. I had interest in giant lira and umbrella tree. But at that time, I didn't know what I could do. But I just thought I could go to another nursery and buy the seedlings. You get it? When you look at this block, they were all supposed to look like this. And when you look at these trees, there are so many varieties here. But I bought the seedlings from the same nursery. You get it? That's what we call the soil species matching. It means that some of these trees are not supposed to be in this land, but ideally forced them to be in this land. I'm doing my best to manage them, but I'm not getting the best out of them because I bought the wrong seedlings, right? Because I bought the wrong seedlings. And where you see, and yeah. So, but now, somebody will ask me why I'm leaving them here. Yeah?
For firewood.
Firewood. I'm leaving them for firewood.
And it has the best quality.
Yeah? I'm leaving them for firewood. Because nearly all the natural tree species I had here, I have removed them. And I cannot begin going to somebody's land to begin harvesting firewood. And yet I have numerous number of workers whom I feed on daily basis. So the best I can do is go and harvest the firewood from my garden. But my purpose here was for timber. When you look at them, this one is 3 years old plantation. Yeah? Ideally, they were supposed to be like this. Okay? But why these ones are trying to grow better? You see, this side is simply because they found very fertile land. Yeah? But regardless of this, actual trees are supposed to grow in marginalized places. The fertile lands, you use them for crop production. Isn't it? So somebody will also now ask me why I'm not in the lower part of my farm. I am not growing eucalyptus because I have life there. That is a stream. That is a stream. So I have to grow what is called the water conservation species. Giant lira cannot really deplete that. But on the upper sides, I grow now eucalyptus, which is a heavy feeder. Okay, which is a heavy feeder. Now, I have so far realized that there are 4 species that do very well in this place. So it's now possible that at the other adjacent lands, I cannot begin doing other species that I have found that they are really possible in my land. So we can go extreme end there and see also another species. Yeah? So along the river belt, I've also discovered that there is another magic apart from the eucalyptus. Yeah, this is white oak. White oak? Yeah. It's called white oak.
Pepper tree,
Pepper tree. White oak. They normally call it Gemelina arborea. It's one of the fastest growing tree species that I have come across, and they produce best quality soft timber. Best quality soft timber. So you see them here, they are 5 months old. Yeah, these ones are 5 months old.
5 months.
Yeah.
5 months.
Oh, yes. So people always have that tendency that when they grow trees, they cannot really get the best out of them. If you manage your trees very well, your kids and your children will only be dreaming that they will be the ones getting the returns out of it. So right now my children cannot dream that they will be the ones harvesting. I will harvest these ones myself. Yeah?
How old?
5 months.
How old? Now the advantage, I want to tell you something. The advantage with this, there are some other tree species. Once you harvest them, they will not regenerate. This is one species, once you cut it, it regenerates, like eucalyptus. You get it? Eh? Yeah? This one, when it regenerates, the giant lira, when it regenerates, the corpses are so weak. Yeah, the corpses are so weak. You cannot get the best out of it. Just like colonial eucalyptus. You harvest it once,
Pine.
yeah, and the pine. Pine you harvest once, colonial eucalyptus you nearly harvest once. The rest of the coppices that will come are going to be very weak. But these ones, they will produce for you also strong coppices that you can continue harvesting continuously. So those are some of the factors that you should look at when you are going into this type of investment. If you know you are going to be a weaker one, okay, a weaker one, grow the ones that once you cut will still bring for you more money. But when you rush, and don't always do it because others are doing it. Do a background check. Do a background check in your nature of investment related to this. You get it? So here I can, yeah. What you see here, my workers, I tell them, okay, I know, I directly supervise myself. Please, I make sure when I'm giving you this to do as a worker, the trees must have an ability also to fight with your crops. Yeah? So at this moment I can say, okay, you can go and grow your things there. So it's really along this stream, it's a little bit longer. So we can move this side. Yeah. Any question? Any question?
When do you harvest? How do you replant these trees? Do they have any?
They have seeds.
Any part? Maybe the auxiliaries. If someone is to set up a nursery for that.
No, we use the seeds.
Only the seeds.
We use the seeds.
For this one.
All this we use the seeds. But there are some other people who use the roots.
The stem.
The roots.
The roots, but actually in a nursery setting, it germinates very fast. You should not stress yourself to use the roots.
So it itself drops the seeds.
Yeah.
At a given stage.
Yeah.
And the seeds are okay.
Yes.
And the other tree? This one.
Also from the seeds.
Yes. Also from
all these ones are from the seeds, except the clones.
Except clones are from the stem. Clones are from the stem.
Yes.
Clones are not from the seeds, they're from the
Yeah.
stem.
Oh, you wouldn't advise
If you want to raise
Yeah.
colonel,
I have a lot there in the nursery.
what's the spacing here?
The spacing is 3 meters by 3 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, these ones are for timber.
Oh, you go and advise the ready ones to harvest.
This one, 10 years. 10 years they'll be ready. If you come here in the next 2 years, actually you'll be tempted to harvest it.
On average, after this, but for colonial, it grows 30 to 40 meters.
Even 50.
50. Like in one is in Abbey, we have measured the highest is 47 meters. We have a machine for measuring. The one which is still standing, 47 meters tall, they are still growing.
Best management, just slash underneath. And from initial stages, 1 week after planting, just spot to hoe in. Just do it. Yeah, just
You
management.
avoid fire.
Avoid fire, avoid
competition.
things to do with excessive grass growing underneath.
Because
There and the other one is termites.
there are some other
And vandalism from people. Termites you just use, you kill the anthill. Termites are worse during rain season, I mean dry season. When there's a lot of water, they don't come for trees. When there is no water, these are the sources where they get their water and they destroy it.
Used for killing the ants. Some chemicals.
The chemicals, yeah. Termicides are very many. We just go to agro-input dealers. Pine is a very complicated tree from the nursery. Pine, where you're going to get raise the seedlings, you need to pick a soil from a mature pine. If you just go and see some of the people who are not knowledgeable about pine raising, there's what we call mycorrhiza in the soil. So when the young one is growing, it needs to get that mycorrhiza, it's fungi. So the roots, the mycorrhiza makes the roots to grow, and the mycorrhiza also gets some salts. So there's what you call symbiotic relations between the fungi and the roots of the pine. So if you go just to any nursery, I'm going to buy
very parasitic.
If you just go into any nursery, not like for Richard, you go and buy pine. It will reach a moment, 5 years, 4 years, all the trees in the field will die all. You may say that it is your neighbors. Because the fungi, what you call the mycorrhiza, is not in the roots of the seedlings. So there will be no, because the roots will not absorb the nutrients, because they work like, I don't know what, like they are friends. That one helps the other one to grow, as that one absorb nutrients from the other one. So there will be one side, so the roots will not have the strength to absorb the nutrients. Then the whole plant will die at the same height. They will start yellowing from top, die. You will say that your neighbors put some chemical, remote control. That's you. But the issue is you bought the seedling from a nursery operator who is not knowledgeable. Okay, it will come to people. You were talking about the what? Somebody who certified nursery operators. So somebody, in fact, the nursery operator is supposed to give you handouts. So if you are buying like colognes, what is the stage at which cologne is supposed to be pruned? And is it February? Which type of climate do you have where you can plant? Which species are there in the nursery? So that it guides you. If you just go and merely buy, like people go to, like your doctor, if somebody says, I go, yes, that is very, some of these things are wrong.
The other thing I just want to add for him is that we have all heard about pines. It's not good to, where you are going to invest in planting pines, please first seek an advisor. Is your place prone to fires? Please, once it has burnt, it has burnt. And once you have lighted fire here, the rest will. It's like adding fuel. The next pine will add fuel to the other one. So where you are going to plant pine, ask yourself a question. Is my place prone to fires? If the place is like mine, I'll say, no to pine. Yeah, no to pine. Even those ones are the periphery. There is what is called the canopy fires. Yeah? The ones at the periphery, even if my plantation is very clean, but once the canopy has closed, it catches fire at the periphery. The rest.
Pine burn only in the up, to not be down.
Because now the leaves are like fuel, adding petrol. But these ones, it cannot. It does not have that characteristic. So let's go.
Now, I still want to
resist
to fire.
Yes. This one is fire resistant.
Can they do this together with banana?
Yeah, this one can do together with banana. Yeah, it can do.
The issue of some trees doing very well like the other trees here and others not doing very well like they are here. Are we now going to say before we plant this type of trees we first pick a sample of the soil and test whether it can?
No,
no, in reality, if I want to plant trees, should I pick that soil and test it somewhere to see if these trees can
now we do soil testing. You can see it with your own eyes. But in laboratory, no, soil testing is expensive for an ordinary farmer. One sample, I think, no, 50, no, it will took recent, I think, 75,000 in the Kawandao Makere. So, we have a soil scientist, but our lab, we only do basic soil testing. We don't do...
Examination tests.
What is Emma doing there? Emma is a pastor.
Normally, no. Let's leave the other one aside. Normally what we do is this. This is now from our experience here. Before we begin doing this, we determine the depth of the soil. Yeah? Like sometimes 2 feet down, we see the performance. Where it turns to be very rocky down, we leave it. Yeah? Where it turns to be very rocky, we leave it. But that's the ideal for pine. Pine tends to do better even in the rocky places. Why?
Yeah.
Because of what you mentioned. Yeah? You get it? So what happens is, for us here, so secondly, our soils are really very, very sandy. Our soils are very, very sandy. They just look dark simply because it is rain season. When it reaches like in November, December, even moving along, you cannot sustain to be here for more than 2 hours. Yeah? Your feet begins boiling up. So if your feet is boiling with that type of temperature, what will be its impact also on the true roots? So the rate of evaporation down will be very high, given the sandy nature of the soils. So that's how, for us locally, we determine it. So definitely we can tell, this tree cannot do here. That's how we locally have managed to look at that. It also helps to add nutrients to the soil. So people who really have small piece of land, and that is the only one that they have, they need to choose tree species that are friendly to the crops. And that type of tree species is what is called Grevillea. And it is the best agroforestry tree species added to Gemelina arborea. Those ones, if this Simpson was under Grevillea robusta, they would have been bigger than this because the Grevillea keeps on adding nitrogen into the soil. So let's go and see that. So we are here. Have you seen this block? The trees are scattered. Why the trees are scattered is because of the mistakes we always make. Where I was buying my clones, the species of the clones that I've left here are the ones which are suitable for this place. But I ended where I was buying them, the nursery operator mixed them up. But when we reached here, after 2 weeks, we were able to tell. This was not really the species that we want. So what we wanted was GC. We ended up buying GU, which could not do well here, because you see inside there they have even remained shorter. What we're interested in were these greenish ones. So now, sometimes now, you can have other types of enterprises alongside the trees. One such an enterprise is beekeeping. So if you are doing this, alternatively, as you are waiting for your trees, you could really get some money out of the beekeeping. Okay, out of the beekeeping. But again, beekeeping requires it in a way that your trees should be producing flowers throughout the year, because it has got 2 seasons of harvests. Okay, 2 seasons of harvests. So where the trees are not really producing the flowers throughout the year, you need to have an alternative crop. You need to have an alternative crop that could now supplement on the flowers. One such is this. This is green gram. I didn't know the name. My experts have just told me the name. Yeah? Choroko. Okay? The green gram. So at the edges of your forest, please, yeah, at the edges of your forest, you'll be growing the green gram. Why? They produce flowers, enough excess flowers that the bees can now benefit from. Because the 2 species that I have here, they really produce flowers. But when now you plant these alongside your forests, okay, instead of the bees flying very long distance, by the way, the bees in a day can fly up to 50 kilometers looking for nectar and pollen. And that they're going to waste a lot of energy in flying. By the time they convert that into the hive, and there are those other bees which are also within the hive, they're just dependents like the drones. The drones are dependents. They don't hunt. Big men. Yeah? They don't hunt. Yeah, they don't hunt for food. They just wait for the female ones to bring for them food. You get it? Yeah, they don't. So what you can best do is to grow crops like this adjacent to your trees to feed your bees. Okay? I was in Anne's farm. She cited the apiary. This type of block is for individuals who do not have enough land. Individuals who do not have enough land. They have the passion in tree growing.
Yeah.
They have the passion in mixed farming, as she mentioned. So look for species that are also friendly to the crops that you are going to grow. One such species
This is what?
is called Grevillea. And here we do what is called alley cropping. We do alley cropping. Even if this Grevillea is 20 years, it will be still very friendly to my crops. It's called an agro.
There are no crops now.
No, they have just finished harvesting beans from here. Don't you see there? Maize. We also had here maize. They just harvested it. So this is Grevillea, and it is one species that's also very good for the bees. Yeah, for the bees. But the disadvantage is that it does not produce flowers throughout. It has only one season of producing the flowers. That is towards the dry season. So with this type of species, you can grow your crops underneath it. Okay? It will never affect your crops, and it will produce for you good quality timber.
Timber, right?
Right? Good quality timber.
And the shade.
And the shade is okay. The shade is okay.
Spacing is.
The spacing is still 3 meters by 3 meters. So we can proceed.
Why others told these ones are short?
Yeah, others are tall, others are short. Okay. Very good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. I had a very good passion for Grevillea, and I really wanted to do it. And there was one thing. Seasonality of planting. Okay? Seasonality of planting. This Grevillea is 2 years old. It is 2 years old.
Even the short one.
No, the short ones are not 2 years old.
Okay.
You find that these ones which are tall, they moved from one season to another. I did my planting in September. You get it? Yeah. In September. And September is towards the dry season. When it reaches the dry season, a lot of it, survival percentage after outplanting was really, really very low. You get it? So it went. So planting this was after 1 year of this. You get it? So I also now, I planted this one, the other year. But along the way, I also had passion to do other crops. I could not do the refilling. Okay? So I realized that, hey, I needed to do what? To refill. That was already 1 year. Of course, I'm very far from the farm. You get it? So you find sometimes the workers cannot communicate to you timely. Said, we needed to do refilling. So this one was 1 year after this. But the survival percentage was really very, very poor. Why? The timing of planting was really very poor. So when do I plant my trees to get the best? To also reduce the cost. So it's always advisable that you do your planting in the first season. The first season of maybe March up to May. So if something dies, you do the replacement in August, immediately. So where you don't do immediate gap filling, you will not have uniform plantation, uniform growth. That's exactly what is here. Those were the mistakes I was telling you. Yeah? But now, we cannot go back to that mistake. Yeah? You get it? Experience, they always say experience is the best teacher. Yeah. The spacing is 3 meters by 3 meters.
How many go in an acre of land?
In an acre? Yes. 500.
551.
You find? I can just now tell.
Yes.
Without side species matching.
Yes.
I can easily tell that my Grevillea can do here well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The soil that I have can support the growth of Grevillea. I can continue to grow the Grevillea, right?
Yeah. How long does it take?
How long is one? It will be dependent on your management.
Yes.
Yeah? Number two, up to from 15 to 16 years, you can do the harvest.
Do you cut it once?
Yeah, you cut this one once. You cut this one once. That's one. Yeah, you cut one. This is another trial block, eh? This is another trial block. Okay? This trial block is for thick. From the word go, I just know it's going to be my best species. So the rest of the land I can, where I want to plant, I can make a decision to plant the what? The thick. It's a trial plant, it's a trial. Locally we do our soil species matching, but although it is very expensive, it makes me make a better management decision in the future so that I don't do mistakes. Yeah? So from the word go, I know when I'll be planting thick in the remaining portions of the land, I can do thick. I can do Grevillea, I can do Cloneloclaptas, but no to giant Lyra. Yes to. So from the land that we have now, from the experiments that we have done, it is possible that we can only go for 4 species of the trees. For agroforestry species, we can go for Grevillea. For other timber species, we can go for thick, then we can go for white oak, and we can go for Cloneloclaptas. But the specific species is GC, not GU. So thank you so much.
I've learned that for a very long time we have been thinking it's enough to just know you're planting eucalyptus. Yet there are several species that will do differently in different climatic conditions. So many of us have done these things and they failed, and we've blamed ourselves and almost even given up on trees. But this trip has made me learn that actually, besides just wanting to do a particular tree, you must go big to understand the species that fits your soil and the climate where you're going to plant. And then that means that you have to deal with a certified nursery bed owner or somebody who actually understands the issues about tree species. Thank you.
This journey of today has been very fruitful when it comes to forestry. And I've learned so much, especially about the tree species, which one to grow where, which one can preserve for you water, which ones are called heavy feeders. And I think it's worth investing in. And if you look at what he's doing here, I am amazed. A lot of money is expected here by him. We're grateful that this trip has been worth it. And I think it's something that you can look into 2-3 years from now. Of course, you can't make an immediate decision to just venture into. But right now, this is a very good benchmarking trip. I think I would want to go for more, to keep getting more, then I make a decision on what to invest. Thank you.
Well, taught Wallace Maguma, actually a farmer by passion, professionally I'm a banker, but I love farming. It's so good, I'm starting to love it more. Every weekend when we have such visits, we actually see the different components of farming. Like right now we are having a view of agroforestry, and it's so beautiful. It motivates a lot. Like now, I never had it in plan, but just because of how I learned it, how I know that the tree you plant right now can actually make for you a future after 10 years. Actually, it has made me equipped, and it has given me the motivation to make sure by next year I also do a plantation for trees, so that maybe even after 10 years it can equip me. I can use the money for paying tuition for my future kids. So I really have a very good view of agroforestry. I love it so much.
Thank you so much, Lulua. I must tell you, I feel so fulfilled. I feel so energized. I don't know how to express this. You know, when you have a passion for something and you want to bring it to life, you have to follow the routes that will take you there. If you see what we've watched here today, these guys are just amazing. You know, having all the team here to learn it's beyond I can express. So I feel so happy that we're here today. I feel so happy that our hosts have been so amazing, and I'm glad that everybody has learned. And actually people have decided on which tree species they're going to plant, which is amazing. I'm grateful.